Hey y'all, welcome back to How I Escaped a Toxic Relationship. We are now on part 5. So if you are new here, please go back and watch parts 1 through 4 and also my advice from a survivor. It just delves into my story and a little bit more about what's going on. So last time we talked, I had just gotten married and my now husband and I decided that we would go to Justice of the Peace. We got married and then we went to a gospel concert. At that gospel concert, we meet a pastor and his wife and they say, hey, we met a gospel artist because he was a gospel artist at the time. And they say, hey, we're starting this music ministry / Bible study. Would you like to join? Of course, we just got married. So of course we want to join. So anyway, we meet them. It's good vibes. And the next day we decided to get up and we drove to Savannah to celebrate our new union. When we got married, nobody else came to the Justice of the Peace because my family was completely against the marriage. They did not want me to marry this man because they thought I could do better. I'm just speaking facts. I ain't trying to shade nobody. I'm telling it like it is. This is my story. So anyway, we go to Savannah. And if you know anything about Savannah and March the 13th, because that is when we got married, Friday, March the 13th, we went to Savannah that next day. And we were staying until Monday. That is St. Patty's Day weekend. If you know anything about Savannah, they have one of the biggest St. Patty's Day weekend celebrations. Probably not the smartest thing to go celebrate your honeymoon with somebody who has been known to be a raging alcoholic in Savannah during St. Patty's Day weekend because there's a lot of drinking involved. But at this time, he had been doing really, really good with I won't say he was completely sober, but he had definitely scaled back and was not getting drunk at this time. And hadn't been for a while because like I said, he had a surgery. We had lost a baby. I had a surgery. A lot was going on health-wise. So we were both trying to get our health together. I had lost a good deal of weight. We were even working out together and going to church and everything. I won't say it was roses, but it was a lot better than it had been. So we go to Savannah. We drive down there, end up getting a rental car. And everything just seemed so good because I went to the rental car place and I was supposed to get this little economy car. Turns out they had rented the car that I was supposed to get. And so I ended up with, I think it was like a Ford Edge or something. But anyway, it had like the panoramic sunroof or whatever. I ended up with an SUV for the same price as the little car. And they gave me a discount for my inconvenience. I was like, yay. Look at all these blessings. Everywhere we were going in Savannah, when we would go out to eat, we would tell people that we just got married and they would give us a discount or they, extra shot or free dessert, just something, right? So then we end up getting these shirts that say, he get a hat that says groom. I had a little t-shirt that said bride. And we're walking around, going to the clubs and stuff. So that Saturday night we get there, we shower and we decide to get out. So when we go out, unbeknownst to me, he must have had a flask or something in his bag and he had already started drinking before we even left. I didn't know that, y'all, because I couldn't even tell. So we go to dinner. And while we're on the way to dinner, we run into somebody who apparently he dated prior to me. Now, we just got married, so I'm like, okay, whatever. And this person was there with her new man. So I'm like, okay, it's not a thing. Whatever. But they saw each other. They had known each other for a while. And so, it's like the little church hug. Hey, what's up? This is my wife, I felt kind of offended that you even reached out and hugged this chick in front of me. But I'm like, okay, keep it cool. Keep it cute. You're not insecure. You got this, right? So we end up partying and hanging out. And before you know it, y'all, it starts to turn left. 1 minute we're dancing and having a good time. We're walking through the crowd. We're kind of people watching a little bit. The next minute, y'all, he is drunk. At the time, I had a blue mohawk. Like I said, blue is my favorite color. I had shaved sides and a curly blue mohawk. I call it the frohawk, okay? I'll insert a picture here. So I had a very distinctive look. I had an eyebrow ring, nose ring, some piercings, cool hair, whatever. So everywhere I went, people were like, oh my God, your hair is so cool. Oh my gosh, this and the other. So there was a guy I don't know if he was a bartender or bouncer or something like that. He worked at one of the clubs we went to. And he was like, yo, your hair is so dope. That is so pretty on you. He steps up and he's like, yeah, my wife is gorgeous. We just got married yesterday. And I'm like, oh, crap. Here we go. When we first started dating, him acting like that, it wasn't as aggressive. And it made me feel wanted and it made me feel desired. But after years of going through that, and then now because he is intoxicated, it got very aggressive and very like controlling. I own you. You're a piece of, you're a piece of property type of thing. So anyway, we end up leaving because he ends up like mouthing off to the person. I didn't want no smoke. So we end up leaving. As we're walking through the crowd, y'all, he is like grabbing my arm. He's not letting me walk by myself. He's like, nah, you with me, grabbing on me and stuff. It got really, really bad and really, really dark, y'all. To the point where by the time I called the Uber, I was debating on even letting him back into the room because the room was booked in my name. That's how, like, nuts he got. The Uber came to pick us up, and the Uber driver almost put us out the car because he was being so disrespectful to me. I just was just sitting there not saying nothing because I didn't want to escalate the situation. And to be honest with y'all, I was a little scared because I'm out somewhere pretty much by myself with this man who is now my husband. And he's acting the worst that I've probably ever seen. Baby, we get back to the hotel. And let's just say that by the time we get back to the hotel, he's still beefing. And he's like, give me the room key. I had forgot, y'all, that I had both the room keys in my little bag. And I did that because he was known for losing stuff. So I just didn't want him to lose the room key because, they charge you for that. And the room was in my name. So I was like, I got to pee. When we got back to the hotel, my nerves are bad and everything. And I just had to pee. Anybody knows me know if my nerves get bad, I got to pee. If I get upset, I got to pee. If I start crying, I got to pee. So I had to pee. I couldn't even make it to the room. Our room was like all the way to the end of the little hotel. And so I went in the lobby of the hotel and I went in there and used the bathroom. Y'all, he was banging on the door. Get out the bathroom. Give me the room key. And I was like, let me pee first. We finna go to the room. I'm going with you to the room. Calm down. So he's like, you're my wife. And you was looking at other guys. And like, red flag, ladies. Anybody that gets upset because another man compliments you in front of them, as long as that other man is not being disrespectful, if he's just giving you a nice compliment, and if you with somebody that gets that irate over somebody complimenting you, run. Because that means that they are controlling, they are manipulative, they want to own you, they want to possess you, they don't want to love you. Just saying. So anyway, he's banging on the door. Y'all, he pulls on the door so hard, he breaks the handle to the door. It's one of those like straight handles, that you pull like that. He broke the handle off the outside of the door, y'all. And I know this because the next day when I came down for breakfast, they were repairing it. I heard the handle hit the floor. So anyway, I come out of the bathroom. I'm embarrassed. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And the people in the lobby are just looking at me stunned. Like, are you okay? Like, blink once for help. And I'm like, no. He's just a little drunk. Because I am so embarrassed, right? This is my honeymoon. Even though it's not the wedding night. The night had already passed. And all that romantic wedding night, first time stuff, we had already gotten pregnant. We had been together for 5 years by this time. So all that first time stuff, that was out the window. So we end up going back to the room, y'all. And he starts beefing with me. And he's like, we here and you don't even want to lay down with me. And because I always get a room with 2 beds. I've always done that. And I lay on the other bed because I don't want to be nowhere near you. You disgust me. You didn't put your hands on me. By this time, y'all, I got bruises up and down my arms from him grabbing me. It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. When we were out in the streets partying and he got drunk and got upset from somebody complimenting me, I was getting called a slut, a hoe. And this is one day, not even a good 24 hours, maybe a little over 24 hours into marriage. And I'm like, holy shit, what have I done? So, y'all, we end up going back to the hotel room. It gets so bad, y'all. I felt like I was never going to get any sleep. I was hoping that he would just go to sleep, pass out, leave me alone, but he kept it going. Like he just wanted to argue. He wanted to fight. He wanted to put hands on me. He was like, you just make me so freaking mad. And now I'm married to you and you're ruining my life. So this is the narrative that was always pushed out, and I have to clear this up because this narrative was said in court. It's been said to his family. It's been said to my friends and family that I quote unquote tricked him into marrying me. Let me lay out the facts. I am someone who is a licensed master cosmetologist who had been on their job and in their field for over a decade at this time. I am somebody that had a stable home life, a vehicle of their own, had her own stuff, okay? I'm someone who already had a child. I ain't too bad looking. I'm 45 now, and, you know, at the time I was about 34. So you can imagine, I'm not saying I was the baddest, but your girl, yeah. So for you to sit there and say that I trapped you into marriage, how did I trap you? He said, well, you didn't give me any other option. Here's what happened. When we reached 5 years of marriage and we, you know, living together, quote unquote, playing house, I told him straight up, what we doing? What we doing, bruh? Because I'm this age, you this age. What we doing? Because are we elevating? Or because if we're standing still and being stagnant, I don't want to do this anymore. And I just told him straight up, like, we can part ways amicably. Like, I give you time to find somewhere else to live, this and the other. I told him all of that, y'all. This man literally looked at me and said, I love you and I don't want you to be with nobody else. Let's get married. That was his answer. So he likes to tell people that I quote unquote trapped him. What I did, I didn't give him an ultimatum. I gave him a choice. Either we elevate or we don't be together no more. I don't think that's an ultimatum. I think that is definitely a choice. People say that it's an ultimatum. You had the choice to leave. You could have left and gone on and been with somebody else and let me be happy with somebody else or by myself or whatever. You chose that we sat there and had several conversations about getting married. So he liked to push the narrative that I quote unquote trapped him into marriage. Okay, I trapped you. I trapped you, sir. Okay. So anyway, y'all, I slept in the rental car. I slept in the rental SUV that night. I'll never forget, I slept in my jean jacket in that rental SUV. And I didn't even go back to the room in the morning. I went to breakfast because I was like, I don't even know if this joke gonna calm down yet, whatever. And while I'm at breakfast, one of the guys in the lobby was like, hey, are you okay? He wasn't one of the people from the night before, but he was in the lobby that morning. I was like, I'm good. And I guess my face said it all, that I had had a rough night. Smeared makeup. I probably had been crying, you know, just looking crazy, right? So anyway, the guy says, you're way too beautiful to be looking like that. Here's how much I know that I was really in the midst of the most abusive relationship ever. When this man gave me this compliment, I'm looking around to make sure my husband ain't there because I didn't want him to hear it, because I'm like, oh crap, here we go again. So anyway, I finished breakfast. I tell him thank you. And he's like, I don't know how he put it. He said, would you like to go for a cup of coffee or something and talk about it? And I held up my hand because I had on my wedding ring. I held up my hand. I said, no. I said, I just got married 2 days ago. And he was like, he must be a lucky guy. Again, y'all, I'm looking around, making sure this joker ain't walked in the lobby and hears this because I'm scared of what might happen. So anyway, I sit there for a while, finish my coffee, my little continental breakfast, whatever. And I start getting text messages. He had been texting me all night. Like, where are you? What are you doing? This and other. And I didn't tell him where I was. I had actually moved the car from where we parked so he wouldn't know where I was, because I didn't want him coming to the car, starting something in the parking lot. Anyway, he begged me to come back to the room. I said, I'm not coming back to the room unless I know that you have calmed down. I said, if you have not calmed down, I said, and you do something else, I said, I threatened to call the cops on him in Savannah and leave him there because I was done. I was already Googling, how do I annul the marriage? So I end up going back to the room. He is super apologetic. He's like, let me just take you out today to make up for everything. And I'm like, you can't make up for this, bro. You cannot make up for this. So he's like, please, 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 let me just, because let me just tell y'all, I didn't tell y'all everything. More of the details will be in my book. But this was not the first trip that we had gone on where you promised to behave and things had gone left. But the reason why we got married is because there had been such a long period of him doing what he was supposed to do, not only as a man, but as a soon-to-be husband, as a father figure for my son. He was doing the things that he was supposed to do. Household-wise, bill-wise, all of that. He was doing what he was supposed to do. So I felt comfortable in getting married because this behavior had not reared its ugly head in so long. I thought that it was dead and buried, and I was very much wrong. So we end up hanging out that day. We end up going to River Street. We actually rented a moped, and I can't drive a moped, but he knows how to drive one. Fun fact, he was 5'7". I am 5'9.5". He's about 170 pounds. I think at the time I was like 216. I'm a big girl. So anyway, we riding around on the moped and we seeing the sights of the city. If you ever been to Savannah, it's beautiful, especially in the springtime. It was unseasonably warm. It was like 80, 90 degrees in March. It was gorgeous out there. And we rode around, we ate, we went to a couple of pubs and hung out. He really monitored his drinking. He didn't do anything but like a beer or two that day. Because I was watching him and I was just like, bruh, you know. So anyway, we end up turning in the moped later on, and we go down to River Street and we see some people that we know from Atlanta, because everybody from Atlanta likes to go to Savannah for St. Patrick's Day. And there's a DJ playing on River Street right next to the water, and there's people dancing in the street. So we join in. We have the best night ever. And I'm just like, okay, so we back on track. That was a fluke. Like in my mind, I'm trying to rationalize what has happened in the last 48 hours. And I'm like, that was a fluke. This not going to be like that. He apologized. Like he was buying me stuff. We went to the mall. We went shopping. He was buying me outfits to wear that night. Like it was all the compliments. It was all the gentleness. It was all the things that made me fall in love with him in the first place. So that was how we spent our honeymoon. And we ended up having a really good rest of the weekend and going back home to where we live in Georgia, about 3 hours away. But in that moment, I thought, okay, it's fixed. He realizes things. He knows things. He knows I'm not playing. Because I told him, I said, I will annul this marriage before you can spin your head around in 360. I let him know, like, I'm not playing with you. Don't put your hands on me. I'm not playing with you. And I thought me being firm and whatever would stop the madness. But y'all already know it didn't. So, thank you for watching part 5. If you made it through this video, please subscribe to my channel. My name is Jen, and on here, I like to spread positivity and help people heal by telling my story and the life lessons that I have learned. My hope is that by me being vulnerable, it helps somebody avoid the things that I have gone through and, you know, maybe help somebody heal. So please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching. Peace and blessings.